If you totally understand these 3 steps of why being alone could be your greatest strength, you'll unlock a potential that could completely transform every area of your life. My name is Dr. Kaur, and in this video, I'm going to take all my years of research and I'm going to condense it into these 3 steps that I would follow in this phase, realizing I'm actually happier being alone or with less friends, because there's actually a deeper meaning behind this phase, sign of awareness, strength, and even awakening. So let's start with lesson and step number 1. Loneliness can be a sign of a higher vibration. Just bear with me. Everything is in science points towards that everything is energy. We're all vibrating at a frequency and a vibration. And every single person has a different vibration and frequency. So if we apply this to loneliness is actually misunderstood then. It could be that you're actually vibrating at a higher frequency or vibration. This isn't just about avoiding people or trying to be without people. It's about you tuning into something much more deeper and more significant and using this opportunity. But you might be thinking, why does it feel so bad? Why does it feel so heavy being alone if I'm of higher vibration? I want you to imagine that you're the one that's always noticing things that aren't working in a group, maybe at work, maybe in a family setting. Maybe you're the one highlighting the truth, the flaws. You're the truth seeker and you're looking at different things and you want everyone to grow. You're looking at the potential of growth, but other people are ignoring it. Instead of celebrating your insight and celebrating the truth that you're highlighting, they are actually making you feel rejected, isolated because of it. And I've experienced this firsthand. For years, I noticed that there was patterns in my relationships. I was met with resistance, people totally not wanting to see how they can make things better. It was a matter of they wanted me to join in to cover things up. It really made me question myself. And I wanted to withdraw, make my world smaller, so I could avoid that feeling of being misunderstood. While it might seem easier to shrink our life and avoid these triggers, but doing so also avoids or stops us from fulfilling our true potential. The truth is, this loneliness could be a spiritual signal or a signal for growth. It's pushing you into a corner to release all the emotional baggage of maybe rejection, of feeling abandoned, and clear the way so that you can move towards something even greater. If you believe in God or the universe, it might be calling you to actually heal so you can fulfill your higher purpose, because without it you can't move forward. And if you continue to avoid this calling, which I did, you may repeat the cycles, remain in a loop, stuck in a loop of isolation and self-doubt. But if you embrace it, you'll realize that your loneliness was nothing about you being alone, but it was preparing you for a new step, a new level of understanding, a higher purpose, and a much more fulfilling life. It's the step that you need to take to success. So what can you do right now? You can start by a daily reflection practice. Set aside 10 minutes a day, just 10 minutes for quiet reflection. And during this time, ask yourself, what emotional baggage am I carrying that isn't even mine? What patterns am I seeing in my life that I am ready now to release? And start a release journey. Begin writing in a journal specifically to release, like it's just all the things that you're going to release are going to go into that journal. And each day, write down one thing that you're ready to let go of, whether it's a belief, an emotion, a memory that you don't want to go over again and again. This practice will help you clear out what you need to for new growth and affirm your higher purpose. Every morning, start your day by saying, I am on my path of growth and healing, and I release whatever does no longer serve me, and I welcome in new opportunities that are coming my way. You can actually literally, as soon as you put your feet down on the ground, as soon as you wake up, kind of get into that mode and affirm that I'm ready for whatever is, my next stage. Lesson number 2, the brain is constantly changing and evolving. It might surprise you, but your brain is even evolving and growing when you're alone. And sometimes science is revealing that you're probably doing it more so. So let me explain. The part of the brain that's responsible for self-reflection and introspection is the medial prefrontal cortex. It plays a crucial role in this process, and without it being engaged, you can't actually heal. Now, you might be thinking, but when I'm alone, why does it feel like I'm stuck in my thoughts sometimes? And this is a really good question. Imagine you're going through a really difficult time and you've constantly replaying events in your mind or scenarios in your mind because you're trying to work it all out. You're trying to figure out what went wrong. So you could see how you could have done things differently. But no matter how much you think about it, you can't seem to let that go completely. You keep going over it. This is how really understanding your brain can change everything. I've been there too. I am an overthinker. And after facing a major setback, I spent hours, countless hours going over things in a detail in my mind. I mean, I remember going analyzing and having pretend conversations, all the time where I'm having this conversation and explaining and defending myself so that I could get out of this pain. But instead, I was finding myself more and more trapped in it even more and almost addicted to thinking. It wasn't until I learned about how the brain functions that I realized that I was using the wrong part of the brain to heal. Here's the key. When you're constantly talking about or thinking about a painful event, what we're engaging is the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. It's a different part of the brain, which is basically great for planning, but not for healing. Not for letting go of that trauma that's in the brain, that's in the amygdala. The reason for this is there's no direct connection. You can't connect via that part of the brain to the amygdala. And the trauma is stored in the amygdala. It's basically there is no way of getting there. So imagine you need to get to the amygdala, such a thing as a city called the amygdala. Then we would need to go a certain route. It's like a road. So without doing that, when we're actually just continually thinking, we're actually going round and round in circles without making any progress. And that is literally what's happening in the brain. So to truly heal, what we need to do is engage the medial prefrontal cortex, which has a direct route to the amygdala. This is the part of the brain that allows for self-reflection and introspection. This is why what you're doing is incredible if you're finding yourself alone. This is what happens when you're really able to feel rather than overthink. And that's when you can actually use this solitude to do such deep work so you can release everything that you need to release and move forward. But if you continue to ruminate, you can get stuck in a cycle of anxiety and depression, unfortunately. But if you embrace the solitude and you allow yourself to feel those deep-seated patterns and the emotions, this could be so important for you in dealing with generational trauma, your own trauma, your childhood trauma, but also generational patterns you could break for generations to come as well. So you create a new path for yourself, but also for so many generations in the future. So what can you do right now? Number 1, you could practice mindful introspection. Set aside some time to, once a week or maybe every day if you can, to really feel what you're feeling without analyzing. Allow whatever comes up to surface and without judgment. Don't judge yourself no matter what. It can really help you engage that medial prefrontal cortex and start that process of healing. And when you catch yourself ruminating, gently remind yourself that this isn't where healing happens. You could say something like stop, or you might go for a walk or get into nature because you'll get grounded and you'll start shifting your focus just through deep breathing, or a gentle walk can help you break that cycle and become aware of how you feel and create a safe space for you to reflect. Designate a safe area for you. It could be anywhere where you feel really warm and cozy, where you can go into retreat and process some of those emotions and allow yourself, give yourself a blanket or things that will make you feel better, and use this space to really tune into your inner world as though it's your sanctuary. And if you want more support in this and you know you need some bigger tools and you've actually got a lot of emotions and trauma that you need to process, not just for yourself, but maybe generational trauma or childhood trauma, then please look. If you're curious about the brain and how it works as well, please look in the description. You'll see a free masterclass and you can go through that masterclass and you'll get a better understanding of how the brain works and how you can use the information around the brain to actually start your healing process. Number 3, to know yourself is to love yourself. As we heal and release these past trauma, we begin to strip away all the old stories and false beliefs that were planted within us. And in doing so, we really start to truly know who we are, not what other people wanted us to be. We go beyond the pain. We go beyond the need for validation. But you might be thinking, but how do I move from knowing myself to actually loving who I am? What is self-love anyway? Imagine you've spent years seeking approval from others, whether it's in relationships, at work, or in your social circles where you just feel like you have to, so that you're pleasing people. Maybe you've molded yourself to fit into what you think other people want, only to find that it actually feels you feeling so empty and disconnected from, you don't even know who you are anymore. I too have walked this path for a very long time, and I thought that being liked by others was the key to happiness, was the thing that made me a good human being. And I would shape myself according to what other people wanted, and I wanted to please other people. But the more I did this, the more I lost touch with who I truly was. And it wasn't until I began this process of healing and introspection that I really started to uncover my true self. And the more deeper I went within, the more I sensed that everything is about love. The more we reach into the depths of our soul, the more we find love, the more we find kindness. This process is much like the transformation that we see from a caterpillar to a butterfly. When we look at the cocoon, it can look like, oh my gosh, it's all by itself. It must be really lonely. It's not going out in the world. Caterpillar friends might look at it and think, oh my gosh, it's just gone off on its own for ages. It's missing out on all this fun. But as you go into the cocoon, you're actually shedding everything you was, like the layers of past trauma, the layers of self-doubt, and you begin to transform yourself into this incredible, beautiful person that you are already. And you no longer need validation from somebody else for your worth. And as you really embrace who you are and you stop worrying about what anyone else is thinking, you become indifferent to what other people are saying about you, and you're more able to feel free to be yourself, to be authentically you, whether people accept you for who you are or not. You just want to experience life. You just want to give and be you, whatever that is. It's when you reach this level of self-love and self-worth that you're not surviving, this is thriving. And then you're ready to step back out into the world because you're not seeking approval. It's not going to take away from you. You're just enjoying life. You're flying. And in doing so, you'll naturally attract people who resonate with you, your true beauty. They'll see your true beauty. They'll love you for who you are. So some things that you can do right now for this is you can start that daily affirmation practice where you're looking in the mirror, looking into your eyes. There's your soul, there's your everything. And really start to say, I am worthy of love and respect, or I love myself, and say your name, because it's that beauty within you that you're trying to connect with. It's really embracing yourself with true love and compassion and kindness, just like you would a good friend. And reflect on your journey. Take some time to write out about your healing journey. Reflect on everything you've learned so far. What are your old patterns? What are your old stories that you've already released? Reflect on the questions that help you see how far you've come and how you've deepened your connection with your true self and how much more you're authentic, and really embrace that. The small step that you do to actually become more authentically you, and challenge yourself to do one small thing every day that expresses your true self without worrying about what other people think. It might be just wearing a bold color, or wearing a certain piece of jewelry, or speaking your mind in a loving way, or pursuing a passion. Small acts of authenticity will strengthen your self-love and your confidence and your knowing of who you are. Just feeling into, what do I want to do today? Your journey to knowing and loving yourself is such a powerful one. And as you heal, you're not only becoming more of who you are, you're transforming into the person that you were always meant to be. And it's this place of self-love. You'll live your life with purpose, joy, and fulfillment. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I really appreciate your support. And if you're ready to go deeper, check out the free resources in the description. Remember, the more you know yourself, the more you'll love yourself, the more kindness you will find within you. You are incredible just as you are. And watch how your life transforms in ways you never imagined. Sending you so much love. Till next time.